Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, March 11th, 2014. This is Talk to Me Tuesday, number 127. Couple things to show, so we'll get right to it. First off, socks. Last week I showed you a sock that I was working on. It was sock number 5 in the first round of the socks for the 5 pairs I'm working on. I managed to get it complete. So there's that. And my goal was to complete this sock and hopefully complete another sock so I would have at least a pair. Well, ta-da! I have a pair of socks. I actually managed to get the sock done, and it was funny because we were doing a hangout and I'm working along on the sock and I did like 8 rounds before I realized I was doing it wrong. I was done with the ribbing. I was supposed to just go into the straight knitting work, and I'm like, ugh. But I tried a new way. Instead of taking 1 stitch at a time and going back 8 rounds, I actually picked up my other needle, picked up stitches where it looked like it was about where I needed to be. And believe it or not, it worked. I was only off. There were 3 stitches in the whole round that I did not pick up the right stitch for, but that was fine. I had to pick up the stitch below it. So, yay! A pair of socks. So there's one of the 5 pairs of socks complete. Just needs the ends woven in. And I'm on the second sock for pair number 2. I'm a quarter of the way through the heel flap, so this one will definitely be done and be a pair of socks by next week. And then I will have 3 more pairs to complete. And my goal is to really push myself to try and get them done by the end of this next weekend. Whether it's going to happen or not a clue, but I'm going to give it my best. The reason being is Erin has announced that we are going to be doing a sock knit along in the TGIF group on Ravelry. I'm going to call it a sock along for purposes of the fact that you can knit them, you can crochet them, you can loom them, however. So you have to, it actually starts on March 15th and ends on April 30th. You have a month and a half to complete 1 pair of socks, 2 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of socks, whatever. You can do as many pairs of socks as you want, but they have to be cast on as of the 15th and finished by the 30th. It can't be something you've already started and you're just going to complete. So that's why I really want to get these socks done. And my goal is, for my first pair, or at least a pair of socks, is to use this book. It is Personal Footprints for the Insouciant Sock Knitters. It's by Kat Bordai, and hopefully I didn't butcher the poor woman's name, but you never know. It actually teaches you how to take a cardboard tracing of your foot and starting at the toe and working back, you make marks on the cardboard piece itself as you go, and you of course try it on your foot at the same time, and you put marks on there that tell you where your increases for your toe ends and your foot begins, any increases or decreases that have to be done on the foot, where the sock will open up for the leg of the sock, and where the heel will be worked. So really cool, and it actually makes a custom fit pair of socks. So really neat. She does have videos that go along with the book, so it'll be interesting, and that'll probably be something you'll be seeing over time. But my goal is to actually use this to make my first pair of socks. So we'll see what happens, and so will you. So next up, it's been popping up on Facebook a lot lately, and it's knitting sweaters for penguins. And yes, folks, I said for penguins. I thought it was a really cute idea, so I decided I was going to knit a sweater for a penguin. So I went according to their instructions, and voila, I have a sweater for a penguin. The only thing I don't like about it is it's done in 2 separate pieces, and you have to seam the sides and the neck area. I don't like that. If I can find a way around seaming something, I do it. So I went back, I did the same pattern, only I did it in the round, and voila. Sweater number 2, done completely in the round, no seaming whatsoever. It worked. I was happy. So now I have 2 sweaters for 2 little penguins. So voila. A crazy idea, yeah, but that's okay. I do know a lot of people have been posting, oh, don't do this, but you know what? Even if the only thing these get used for is to be put on stuffed penguins and sold so that the benefits go towards improving the facility, it's all about penguins and other animals that have been caught in oil spills. So if all it does is gets put onto a stuffed penguin and sold so that they can better use the money to improve the facility, I don't care. There's 2 sweaters for 2 little penguins. I'm happy with it. Next up, paper piecing. I have been showing in the past couple weeks squares that I have taken out of a book called 365 Foundation Quilt Blocks. Everything I've shown up to this week has been a log cabin type, where it starts in the center and you work your way out around it. Well, not all of the blocks that I have chosen are strictly log cabining. Getting mixed up, sorry. Not going to redo this, but not all of them are strictly log cabin. Some of them I just like the pattern or the picture, so I decided I was going to throw it in because it's the same size block. Well, the first one, because of all the cold weather we've had, I was thinking spring. And my first one is a tulip. These are very basic, very simple patterns. Nothing to them, you know. They're super simple. This one only had 11 pieces to be put on. But I chose a nice flowery print for my tulip. And there's that. So there's one. And my next one is springtime geese. So there's my geese. This is it's an old pattern. It's flying geese. And, you know, my kids look at it and say, geese. Geese. I wanted my geese flying over a field of poppies with the sun shining bright around them. So there are 2 more blocks completed, and I do have other ones that are not, like I said, necessarily log cabiny, but they're all the same size blocks, so they'll be cropping up here and there. I would have had a 3rd one done, but excuse me, I'm dropping things. Disappeared. Get it after. But wasn't really too crafty yesterday. But speaking of paper piecing, our wonderful Miss Ofen Jen has provided us with another wonderfully instructional tutorial. Her TTMT this week was not the show and tell TTMT we're used to, but a tutorial on how she does the binding on her quilts. Now, I, for one, do not and have never known how to properly bind a quilt. My quilts, I always made sure the backing fabric was large enough that I could just do a small hem and turn it to the front and sew it on and call it quits. Well, she did a wonderful tutorial on how she herself does the binding on her quilts, and I'm watching this saying, oh my God, that's a lot easier than I thought it was. So, absolutely fabulous tutorial. I will definitely put a link in the description. Go watch it. Check it out. It is her way of doing it. So, it may not work for you, but let me tell you, from watching it, it will definitely work for me. And what I plan on doing is, I mentioned last week I wanted to take the original March block for this month, which had the 84 pieces, or 85 pieces in it, excuse me, and turn it into like a hot pad or something using fabric I hadn't chosen for the PPVBOM. So I am definitely going to give that a shot. I'm not all that, you know, doing all that fancy quilting, stitch work on it, but I'll figure something out. And I am definitely going to use her tutorial on the binding. So hopefully you will see that next week, and I'll let y'all know how it went. But links in the description, Sewhooked, Fandom and Stitches, the paper piecing workshop. Now you'll see a link to her tutorial from this week's TTMT on the quilt binding. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. I don't want this video to be any longer than it is, so I am going to say I look forward to watching everyone's videos. I hope you all have a wonderfully crafty week and a wonderfully crafty weekend. As for me, I'm out. As for you, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever it is. I really do hope it's a great one, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!